What is good, everybody? This is Koza and welcome back to another 2K Lab video. Today's video is another tier list, but this tier list is a little different. We asked you guys to send in your best builds and you guys pulled through. So in today's video, we're going to be ranking your guys' builds into a tier list so you guys can start to see the difference between a good build and an even better one. So if y'all are ready to rank these builds into a tier list, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys want more content like this. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now we got 5 guard builds and 5 forward builds. Up first, we have a 6'4" point guard build coming from that man, Yo Cam Chill. We can all agree that a point guard's job is to play make and get a bucket when he needs to. This build is quick with that 93 acceleration and that Hall of Fame speed boost. This build gets an 89 passing accuracy, can shoot from anywhere on the court, has an 85 driving layup, and even some standing dunk and post control to go along with it. It has some interior defense to stop a backdoor cut, maybe he's guarding corner in a 2-3 zone. I'm personally a fan of this build, but I don't think it's an S tier build for the lack of defense. That being said, we're going to go ahead and throw this to an A tier. We're off to a hot start, I'm not going to lie. Up next, we have a 6'6" point guard build from that man Snoops, the Apprentice. Now, just like our last build, this is a point guard build, so it needs to be able to play make. It can do that with the 89 passing accuracy. It also gets an 89 3-point rating as well as an 80 driving layup. Unlike the last build, this build has some defense with that 95 perimeter defense and that 81 steal for silver interceptor. I feel like this is a solid PG build, but you did miss out on that gold speed booster. And what stings the most is that you're at an 84 acceleration and it's at the 87 threshold for acceleration. You went with the 83 speed with ball to hit that threshold, but you didn't hit the acceleration threshold. So gold speed booster on this build was just so close. Not a bad build by any means. This is definitely very usable and a very good build. We're gonna go ahead and throw this into the A tier. Any point guard build that has a passing accuracy and some high defense deserves A tier. Up next, we got a 6'8" point guard build from my man Drillyent. Now I imagine this is more of a park PG build for the 1s, 2s, and 3s court with that low 70 pass ac. Like he said, this is an ISO lock, so if we take a look at defense, we can see that this defense is pretty well rounded. Scoring is serviceable with that 84 driving dunk and that 83 point rating. So it's an all-around scorer that can play 2 ways. I would imagine this build wouldn't be as good in the rec, but for park players, this is definitely suitable. With that being said, this build isn't perfect, but it isn't bad, so we're gonna go ahead and throw it in that A tier. Moving on to shooting guards, we're starting out with that man No Name. Now check this build out. This build is basically a lockdown just at the shooting guard position. If you're running with a ball dominant point guard, this could be probably one of the best builds in the game to have. Now the finishing isn't all quite there, but you do get that 92 3-point rating for that silver limitless range threshold. You get the 93 perimeter defense for gold clamps and that 91 steal rating for gold glove and gold right stick ripper. You have a high speed with that 89 speed, and you even have just enough playmaking to be a secondary ball handler. I will say that 75 driving dunk threshold would have been nice for the athletic one-handers off one dunk package, but at that point, I'm just nitpicking, man. We're gonna go ahead and throw this in the S tier. Up next, we got a 6'8" shooting guard build from that man 95. Now, a shooting guard should be a bucket getter and preferably not a liability on defense. Now, look at what my man cooked up here. 87 driving dunk for contact dunks. He has a 79 3-point rating, which isn't only the threshold for silver blinders, but also that Ben Shepherd base. Can definitely be a secondary ball handler and a secondary passer, and that man got some D with the 91 steal, the 79 block, and the 88 perimeter defense. This man hit the silver speed booster threshold and also has a 92 strength. This looks like an amazing shooting guard build, but dog, just upgrade the free throw. It's so cheap in the builder. Just upgrade just to a 71, please. I would personally just go to like an 87 perimeter defense and you could probably get a lot of free throw with that. Or even just take block rating down 1 or 2. This shooting guard build is just one thing away from being perfect in my eyes. I'm gonna cut you some slack. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the S tier because it is a really good build, but man, just a little bit more free throw, man, would be perfect. Up next, we have a 6'9" small forward from that man Babyface. Now this is probably the most well-rounded build that I've seen so far this year. 80 driving layup, 75 driving dunk, the 73 mid-range along with the 76 3-pointer. Of decent playmaking to be able to play make and, you know, dribble the rock. And defense is all well-rounded. This build could be perfect for somebody that wants to hop in the game. They want to do everything at a serviceable level while being a solid small forward for a team. But I have to judge it on if the average person were to hop on it and if they could go crazy. It's not the best finisher. It's not the best shooter. It play makes all right, and the defense has a little randomness with the 80 block and things like that. Now this build could be perfect for you, and it does look like a solid small forward build, but we're gonna go ahead and throw it in the B tier. Up next, we got a 6'10 small forward by my man. I can't say his name on YouTube. Now this is a pretty solid small forward build, coming in at 6'10 with that 85 driving dunk, that 80 driving layup for the Hall of Fame Pro Touch, gets a little bit of standing dunk, hits that 84 mid-range for that gold mini magician threshold, that 79 three-point rating, 81 free throw. It has enough playmaking to not only handle the rock but also get assists. As we go down to defense, it has a solid perimeter block and rebounding stat. He even gets O-board with it, and his physicals are pretty solid. I think this build deserves a spot at least in the A tier. Now we're moving on to the power forward big man builds. Up first, Trevor Bentley. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, this man cooked in so many different ways. Has that 94 driving dunk with that 81 standing dunk threshold, has the 78 three-point rating, but he hits the 79 mid-range rating, has enough passing accuracy to pass the ball at least a little bit up the court. He does miss out on the higher ends of break starter. But defense, he has that 92 defensive rebound and that 92 block rating, as well as some pretty decent perimeter defense. 73 acceleration with that 75 speed and that 84 strength. So he can play defense at all levels. He has a nasty driving dunk rating, can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court, and his passing accuracy is serviceable. I'm not gonna lie, I think he deserves a spot in the S tier. Up next, we have a 6'9 power forward build coming from our man, It's Stacks. Now this is definitely an interesting build. One thing that I like about it is that Hall of Fame anchor badge. That 99 block does go different. Another thing is that high driving dunk along with the high vertical. He can shoot the mid, and he can also handle the rock. Although this looks like a very fun build, not being able to shoot the three or pass the ball if you do handle the rock, along with not being a great rebounder at the power forward position, we're gonna go ahead and throw this in the B tier, although the build does look like a really fun build. Last but not least, we got that man, underrated reply guy. Now this is a 6'10 power forward. It gets a 75 driving dunk threshold to meet that athletic one-handers off one driving dunk animation. He gets the 92 standing dunk and that 85 post control. He even gets close shot on his build, so definitely solid finishing. As we go down to shooting, you have an 87 mid-range. Now that not only brings you more badges, but also opens up more opportunities to use other jump shot bases and releases. This man has a serviceable three-point rating, a 71 free throw, and an 84 passing accuracy for that touch passer threshold. And this man can protect the paint with his interior and block, as well as rebound the ball. Physicals are also looking solid with the high stamina and vertical, as well as the 90 strength. Not gonna lie, you cooked on that build, man. And that is gonna wrap up today's tier list. I'm not gonna lie, y'all are making some pretty good builds out there. OC tier builds, you love to see it, man. All of these builds are definitely usable in their own category. Let me know down below if you guys would change anything to this tier list. We appreciate all the feedback down in the comments down below. We appreciate all the love and support. And with that being said, it's been Koza, and I'm out.